Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, welcome back to the Nerdy Attorney as I offer more commentary on the crazy Final Fantasy collector booster market. Box is now at $1,179. Here's what you need to know about this set's historic price impact on future Universes Beyond sets as compared to other in-universe sets. Like, subscribe, ring that bell, comment, do everything you can to make the algorithm think this little channel has legs and can actually make it in this big wide world of YouTube. So here's what you need to know about the Final Fantasy market and what it's doing to future sets like Spider-Man. So here we see the box has now risen again since my last video to $1,179.88. The price continues to spike, and we see a little bit of pressure here at the $1,200 mark. That seemed to be a bit too much for folks to pay, quote, comfortably. But we do see that some boxes very easily cross that $1,200 range here as soon as you factor in tax and shipping. They are still selling like hotcakes. Look at that. This is all within a 24-hour period here. Some boxes over at $1,200, $1,206, and then we saw that pushback and retraction. Now, what does this mean for future sets? Let's take a look at first Edge of Eternities. Edge of Eternities is another in-universe set, which brings back Galaxy Foil and other exciting things that previously we enjoyed, like the Infinity Lands had that Galaxy Foil treatment for the shocks. They were gorgeous. Now, we do see here the price fluctuating a bit with the pre-release, topping out at $316, dropping back down to $287, and then rising again to $328. Now, I have a theory as to exactly why this happened. I view, and you'll see this with Dragonstorm Tarkir, the money in Magic the Gathering collecting is like water. There's a finite volume of it, and it will flow to the place of most interest. But as it flows to a new location, it recedes from the previous location. I believe this is when the interest kicked in. Look here, we're at April, we see some releases, May hits, May is running, and then look, Final Fantasy goes crazy at releases. That money flows away from Final Fantasy, and stores and sellers are still trying to make their sales. So what do? They lower their price to entice new buyers, and they get it on the way down, slowly levering down their price point in order to attract new buyers. Now, that money flowed right out of Edge of Eternities and directly into Final Fantasy, almost to the day. You can see the spikes happening, and they continue all the way up to surge this ridiculous around $1,200 price for the boxes. You can see the same thing happening retrospectively with Tarkir. Tarkir back to $310. Do any of you remember buying Tarkir? The legends were that this was going to spike to $800, $900 a box, that Tarkir was going to be the next $1,000 box. And with that excitement made it surge all the way up to a max of $390 when people were buying them for $280, $310. The stores were paying around $180 to $190 per box, making their fair profit there. And yet, look, as soon as all the hype for Edge of Eternities came in and Final Fantasy, just like I'm discussing, that flow of financial interest and money that the collectors have to spend on this, let's be honest, frivolous product, it flows away from Tarkir and it went into Edge of Eternities and Final Fantasy. Now, I think the reason why we're seeing Edge of Eternity start to spike again is because it's, one, the next set on people's mind, and really the excitement of Final Fantasy, now the prices are becoming astronomical, are turning more into a morbid curiosity of how expensive it can get, as opposed to, I'm going to go out and buy another box. One, because they're not available to buy, and two, the prices are prohibitively expensive for most buyers. So where does that money go for the average consumer? It's going to flow into the next reasonably priced product. $328 is a lot of money for 12 packs of Magic cards. But in comparison to $1,200, it feels like a deal. So why not try and hop on to the next potentially big set, Edge of Eternities? Now, this is an in-universe set. And as you can see, $328 for in-universe. And then going back to Tarkir, we're looking at $310 for in-universe. But when we talk about Universes Beyond, we know Lord of the Rings set the tone and tempo for a new price point for the extreme expense of these serialized boxes that cannot be reproduced. Looking now at Spider-Man. This set isn't coming out until the end of September. We are a long way away from opening up packs of Spider-Man, and yet, because it's Universes Beyond, it is a giant Marvel property. There's a Sony Marvel cross here with the movies and TV shows, so therefore there's a lot to dive in there, which I will do in a future video, but talking just about Magic the Gathering and the fact they have what is known to be a Sony/Marvel property on their packs, in their boxes, with their cards. Not to mention, Spider-Man is one of the most beloved superheroes of all time. He's how I started reading comic books. The Ultimate Spider-Man, for me, was the beginning of my comic book journey. So I know many people are going to have a lot of sentimentality and love for this character. And look, we don't even know what's in this set. But the moment Final Fantasy spiked, we went from $548, which was already $200 above what Edge of Eternities is getting as an in-universe set, to now a max of $616. Let's look at the sales here. This sold unopened just yesterday, 2 days ago, for $748. $700. It's selling over and over again, $579. So the real price spiked to an extreme $750, which is just out of control for a set where we don't even know what's in it yet. All we know is it's going to be Spider-Man. It's going to create hype. And guess what? Everybody indicated that Wizards of the Coast turned their printers on the burr setting just to make sure they can have enough Final Fantasy product to meet the demand. And within a week, they sold out of their collector boosters. I don't know if this is enough time for Wizards to try and print more of this product. And I'm not even sure if there's going to be serialized cards here. The box doesn't indicate serialized. I don't think there are serialized cards in this set. Look at the contents. Nowhere does it mention a serialized card. Now, perhaps there will be serialized cards, but there's no indication of that so far. So ostensibly, Wizards of the Coast can reprint this Marvel Spider-Man product, and the price is going to plummet. I thought it was very interesting. In my last video, there was a lot of comments indicating the Surge foils from Lord of the Rings, the first set, crashed, absolutely collapsed. The box topper lands and the other Surge foil chase cards inside the first Lord of the Rings product collapsed once the Holiday Edition Lord of the Rings set came out. That Holiday Edition, of course, had the gorgeous borderless poster cards plus serialized versions of those, which were very, very, very hard to pull. So will Spider-Man have a similar issue here? Will Final Fantasy have a similar issue here with their Surge foils collapsing? Perhaps we have not seen if there's going to be another set. As soon as we get confirmation of a second Final Fantasy set, which, by the way, just judging by previous market trends, we know this outsold Lord of the Rings, and they made a secondary set. They put a lot of work in designing the set. There are many cards in this set. I would not be surprised at all if this gets reprinted, Surge foils devalue, and a new chase for Final Fantasy becomes the end-all be-all of collectors. For all we know, this $1,200 price point is a flash in the pan. Maybe we'll get to a point where this is affordable again. Who knows if this is just the beginning, just like the first Lord of the Rings set, or it's going to be something in the league of its own where it becomes a single set like Fallout or Doctor Who. By the way, nobody's saying Fallout, Doctor Who, Assassin's Creed, these Universes Beyond sets, though the boxes are spiking to some degree, are going to be reprinted. The demand was not nearly there. The recognition of the brands, I don't think, synergized as much with the Magic the Gathering crowd as Final Fantasy did. So, those are my thoughts on Edge of Eternities, Tarkir, and the new Spider-Man set, and this price impact clearly affecting Universes Beyond sets as opposed to in-universe sets, and my theory that the financial ability and capability to spend within the Magic the Gathering market is like water. It will flow from one target to the next, and when it flows away from a target, there is a very tangible decrease in price, either caused by TCG's algorithmic pricing, where they go, hey, look, it's not selling at $319, we'll sell for $318. It's not selling at $318, we'll sell for $317. A lot of stores automate that process, so before you know it, it's a race to the bottom with these prices. The moment some money flees away from that top-end price, you see it start to collapse, as we're looking at here with Final Fantasy. For all we know, as soon as that price hesitancy came at $1,200, people thought, hey, I was excited to see the box go to $800. Let me sell it for $1,150, undercut the market, and guarantee that sale by comparison. So you can have the algorithm of TCG's pricing for large stores racing to the bottom. You have private consumers who go, I was happy to make $900 on this box. I'll sell for $1,150 just to look great compared to $1,200, and mine will sell in a second. Those two phenomena lead to this price reduction, this pulling back on high value sets that I think we're going to see happen, similar to these little bumps here, as this set continues to age and mature. Keep in mind, this is not like Lord of the Rings where it's taken years for us to see what the market looks like. And even in the months after Lord of the Rings, we didn't see this kind of price movement. This is something different. This is happening very quickly, and it's uncharted territory for Magic. And it looks a lot like Pokemon in a weird way. So, let me know what you think in the comments below. Do you think this price point of $1,200 is going to hold? Or is this pushback the beginning of the price reduction for Final Fantasy boxes? Or will it be $2,000 within the next month? Who can say? But I know the moment news comes out about a second Final Fantasy set and we find out what the contents are, either we're going to see a huge spike in Final Fantasy because their surges are safe, or we're going to see a huge pullback because the new chase cards have been minted and new borderless foil treatments like the poster foils are going to become the new hotness for Final Fantasy. Thanks again for tuning in, and make sure to comment below on what your thoughts are for the future of Final Fantasy, Universes Beyond, and especially that Spider-Man set. I'm very excited for it. We'll take a look at Avatar: The Last Airbender as soon as we have more price information on that set. Thanks again, and ladies and gentlemen of the jury, court is adjourned. Hey, if you like that video, check out my most recent box opening. I put in all the prices that matter. I've tracked the entire box from beginning to end and gave commentary along the way. I hope you like it. It took me a long time to edit. Until next time, I'm the Nerdy Attorney, and we'll see you later.